Hello everybody, welcome back to this here tropical update for September 20th. We're currently watching Category 3 Major Hurricane Fiona, the first major hurricane of the season, located near the Turks and Caicos Islands. Tropical Depression 8, located over the central subtropical Atlantic. Invest 98L, located to the east of the Windward Islands, as well as an area of interest off the coast of Africa. It's a party in the Atlantic. As we can see by the impact map here, a lot of highlighted areas, including significant impacts, mainly due to major hurricane force winds in portions of the Turks and Caicos, as well as Bermuda over the next 7 days. We are also experiencing storm surge 5 to 8 feet over the Turks and Caicos Islands, resulting in a high risk for the remainder of the Turks and Caicos, as well as the southeastern Bahamas, with decreasing risks as you head away from the storm. There's also minimal risks for much of the Caribbean Sea, the Windward Islands, Trinidad and Tobago, ABC Islands, portions of northern Venezuela, Jamaica, and the Cayman Islands need to be watching Invest 98L very carefully over the next few days, as it is likely to develop into a tropical cyclone. Also, just a side note, in the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands, rain is still falling, which is causing major flooding. Later on in Fiona's life, as we look at the top there, strong tropical storm force winds are possible over portions of Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, as well as a large area of tropical storm force winds, perhaps over the entirety of both islands, more or less. Tropical Depression 8, located over the central subtropical Atlantic, could impact the Azores with tropical storm force winds. We'll continue to monitor this storm very carefully. Let's begin first with Fiona. Fiona looking like a classic major hurricane today, getting an eye feature well defined. Perhaps maybe in a few days we might be able to see the ocean from the center of the storm. As you see just north of the Turks and Caicos are here where my cursor is today. Winds currently at 115, a low-end Cat 3, expected to become a Category 4 hurricane, according to the Hurricane Center, as it makes its way to the northwest of Bermuda as a strong hurricane with an expanding wind field. This wind field on Fiona will expand rapidly. I'll show you a presentation of that here shortly. Make its way up towards Nova Scotia as perhaps a hurricane. It might be an extratropical cyclone, but nonetheless will be significant and large. Speaking of significant rain continues to fall over Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. Again, the Puerto Rico without power at this point in time. Again, we're expecting a low-end Cat 4 as things stand right now. It could just remain a Category 3, well within the realm of possibility. It'll begin to weaken, but as it weakens, the wind field with this thing is going to increase rapidly. So let's take a look at the H-Wharf model. As we see, this is about what it looks like right now. You see it's a decent hurricane. It looks like a strong hurricane, 957 millibars, a decent. That green is tropical storm force winds. The purple is hurricane force winds, a decent size of each of those. As we skip ahead to when it passes near Bermuda, this is in about 3 days from now. Bermuda is where my cursor is right here, just to the southeast of the center of Fiona, and that's on the borderline of hurricane force winds. We could see major hurricane force winds if Fiona passes a little bit closer to the island. Tropical storm force winds well near Bermuda. In fact, well away from the side of the storm. The zoom on this is the same as the previous image. So take a look, just compare that to that. The hurricane force wind field is about the size of the tropical storm force wind field now, and it even grows more with time. By the time we make it up to Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, we see the tropical storm force wind field is like quadruple the size that it is now. In the hurricane force wind field is about the size of the tropical storm force wind field on day 3, and this is at about day 4. So again, significant impacts expected with this one. As it begins to decay, it will grow in size, as I've been mentioning. Tropical Depression 8, located over the central subtropical Atlantic today, We're continuing to monitor for potential impacts to the Azores, although it may not approach the Azores and move up to the north away from them. Again, due to its size, we could see tropical storm force winds in the Azores anyways. Invest 98L going to be making its way towards the Windward Islands. As we can see here on this image, again, using my cursor, here's South America right here. Here are some of the Windward Islands. Here's Barbados up here at the top here. National Hurricane Center saying an 80% chance of formation within the next 5 days. Winds are currently at 35 miles an hour with this thing. Expect impacts to the Windward Islands, ABC Islands, and later down the line, Jamaica and the Cayman Island as we move on with time. I'll show you guys the models for that here in a second. Then we're also watching an area of interest on off the coast of Africa in the Western Atlantic for potential development. 20% chance in the next 5 days, and you see it develops here in the European ensembles. Almost all of them actually going away from Cabo Verde, north of Cabo Verde, which is very unusual and would be quite interesting to see such a storm form. Again, 98L is where all our focus is shifting once Fiona is over due to its impact, due to it heading into the Caribbean Sea, where it could impact a number of nations, perhaps even turn north towards Florida, the United States, the Gulf of Mexico, all within the realm of possibility. This is only through 7 days, so there is still a wide range of possibilities after that point, and it's a wide range of possibilities as it is, anywhere from as you'll see shortly on the GFS, anywhere from Haiti to Honduras, Nicaragua, the Yucatan are in play. So a very wide scope of solutions. Do note that Fiona is the center of Fiona is well to the north of Bermuda on this model, and the Azores do get a nice scraping by Tropical Depression 8. Same deal on the GFS. Fiona stays to the north of Bermuda. TD8 scrapes by the Azores. A little less support for the area of interest off the coast of Africa, but it is worth noting that the GFS has 98L turned to the north sooner than it is on the European model, which could impact Cuba more significantly, could impact Jamaica more significantly, could affect Haiti instead of not affecting them at all, and obviously could have detrimental impacts to the United States if it were to turn that early. Of course, there's still a lot to happen with 98L. There's still a lot, but it's something we need to watch very carefully with time. It's a new record, folks. The most rain for a tropical cyclone in Guadeloupe. That's one of the islands over in the Lesser Antilles on the Leeward Islands. Record rainfall, second largest from a tropical cyclone, 21.02 inches with Fiona on the island. That is impressive. Also, most rain from a tropical cyclone in Puerto Rico. Again, as I mentioned, the Hurricane Center is estimating a 35-inch grand totals across Puerto Rico, which will put this storm in third in terms of rainfall, right behind Hurricane Maria in 2017, which, as we know, was an extremely devastating hurricane. In Fiona, although not a Category 4, so it doesn't have all those winds that Maria did, it was still a Category 1, but those rains were the main issue. And so hopefully Puerto Rico spares better than they did with Maria. But at this point, I mean, they got soaked. I mean, that's just the fact of it, and they don't have power. It's really not a great situation down there. So if you have a way to help out people in Puerto Rico, please do that. So again, we're watching a party here in the Atlantic. It's active. It's hurricane season. It is what it is. That's all for now. Chris 6 and for Catholic Media.